I woke up suddenly at exactly 3 a.m. The room was dark and quiet, but something had pulled me out of sleep so sharply that my heart was already racing. At first I thought it was just another random wake-up in the middle of the night. It happens sometimes, but as I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence of my house, I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, heavy, careful. They were coming from the hallway just outside my bedroom. I held my breath and listened again, hoping I had imagined it. Maybe it was the house settling. Old houses make noises all the time. Creaks in the wood, pipes shifting, the wind pushing against the walls. But these sounds were different. They were deliberate, like someone was walking slowly, trying not to be heard. Step. Pause. Step. Pause. My mouth went dry. I lived alone. At least, I was supposed to. My eyes drifted toward the bedroom door. It was slightly open, just a thin crack that showed a strip of darkness in the hallway. The footsteps stopped. The silence that followed felt even worse. It was the kind of silence that makes your ears ring. Then another step echoed through the hallway. I slowly reached for my phone on the nightstand. The screen lit up the room with a faint glow. 3:07 a.m. The footsteps continued. Step, step, step. They sounded closer now. My mind started racing through possibilities. Maybe someone had broken in. Maybe a thief thought the house was empty. Maybe they were searching for something. Or maybe they were searching for me. My chest tightened. I quietly slid out of bed, trying not to make a sound. The floorboards were cold under my feet. Every movement felt too loud in the silence. My hand shook as I picked up the small flashlight I kept in the drawer beside the bed. The footsteps stopped again. Whoever was out there had heard something. I froze. Seconds passed. Then a slow creak echoed through the house. It sounded like someone leaning their weight against the hallway wall. My heart pounded so hard I was sure they could hear it. I walked toward the door and gently pushed it open a little wider. The hallway stretched out in darkness. The living room at the end was barely visible, just shadows blending into deeper shadows. Hello, I whispered. No answer. The house was silent again. I stepped into the hallway, holding the flashlight but not turning it on yet. Somehow the darkness felt safer than announcing where I was. Is someone there? I asked louder this time. Still nothing. The air felt strange. Heavy. I slowly turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing the empty hallway, the walls, the closed bathroom door, the picture frames hanging exactly where they had always been. No one. I let out a shaky breath. Maybe I really had imagined it. Maybe my brain had turned some random sound into footsteps. I started to relax. My shoulders dropped slightly. I even laughed quietly to myself. Then the floor creaked behind me. I spun around. The hallway behind me was empty, but the sound hadn't come from the hallway. It had come from my bedroom. My stomach dropped. The bedroom door was still open behind me, the flashlight beam reaching just enough to show the edge of the bed. And something moved. Not clearly, just a shift in the darkness. Like someone stepping back. I felt every hair on my arm stand up. Slowly, I walked toward the room again. Each step felt heavier than the last. The flashlight shook in my hand as the beam crawled across the doorway and into the room. First the wall, then the nightstand, then the bed. Empty. I exhaled again. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. My bedroom window was open. I was certain I had closed it before going to sleep. A cool breeze drifted into the room, moving the curtain slightly. I walked closer to the bed and looked around carefully. The closet door was shut. The desk chair was in the same place. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Then I noticed something that made my blood turn cold. The blanket on my bed was slightly dented, like someone had been sitting there. Very recently. I slowly backed away from the bed, and then I heard it again. Footsteps. But this time, they weren't in the hallway. They were above me. From the ceiling. I stared upward, my brain struggling to understand. There was no second floor. Just the attic. The footsteps moved slowly across the ceiling. Step, step, step. Dust drifted down from above as the sound traveled directly over my head. Someone was in the attic. My breathing became shallow. I had lived in this house for 3 years. I had never once gone up there. The attic door was in the hallway, just outside my bedroom. The footsteps stopped. Then something scraped across the wood above me. A long dragging sound. Like furniture being moved. Or something being dragged across the floor. I backed out of the bedroom and into the hallway again. The attic door was right there in the ceiling, the small pull string hanging down. It swayed slightly, like someone had just brushed past it. My phone buzzed suddenly in my hand. I almost screamed. A notification lit up the screen, but it wasn't a message. It was a security alert from the small camera I had installed in the living room months ago. The notification read, "Motion detected, 2:58 a.m." My fingers trembled as I opened the camera feed. The video began playing. At first, the living room looked normal. The couch, the table, the dark window. Then the attic door slowly lowered into view. Not from me pulling it. From above. It opened slowly, quietly, and something climbed down. The camera didn't show its face clearly. Just a thin figure moving silently into the house. The video ended. I stood there frozen in the hallway, staring at my phone. Then I heard something directly above me again. A whisper. Soft. Barely audible through the ceiling. But clear enough to understand. "Why did you wake up?"